like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun.
All right, so I'm going to give you some examples of why it's not so easy to leave. One reason is because they'll follow you. I actually had someone, it was a girlfriend that I had finally moved away. I had to move, literally physically move to get away. Now, it was only about an hour, 5 hour and 10 minute move, but I thought it was far enough. And so she ended up quitting her job and moving just around the corner, not just around the corner, it's up and over a hill and then down about another mile. So a mile and a half, let's say, maybe 2 miles. And she called me up one day about a month or two later. And she goes, oh, guess where I live? I'm like, where? And I said the same city she was in before. She goes, no, I live right around the corner from you. I was like, what? I literally sat there, oh my God. And so it's not always that easy to just leave. Because here's the deal. Not everybody wants to fucking move, okay? So if that person can't see, it's like they stalk you. They show up at your job. It's like you literally have to block these people. A lot of times, you have to get restraining orders on them, and you could even tell them that. Say, well, I realized I was going to have to get a restraining order, and they're like, why? At this point, if they're not listening and you don't feel good, it's like they're trying to make you. If you feel bad, and these people aren't like, and your friends or whoever it is isn't listening to understand, end the conversation. Stop it. Tell them to go study up on narcissist abuse, okay? Don't offer them books. Don't offer them, oh, well, I'll send you some links to some YouTube videos. No, if they don't want to learn, they're not your friend, okay? They don't give a shit, all right? So all they're doing is, here's the deal. They're a narcissist. They're being very narcissistic, okay? Now, it's very possible that your narcissist sent them as a flying monkey to fuck with you, to make you feel guilty for leaving them. Okay, yes, this has happened to me. Okay, and a lot of people will tell you, like, yeah, all of a sudden this person showed up in my life. Next thing you know, they're making me feel bad about not talking to the narcissist anymore. Why did you leave? What was the big deal? Ooh, well, you don't understand, so no reason to talk. Boom, bye. One thing that I've learned from narcissists is if people are not wanting to understand me, I don't talk to them. I'm like, see ya, bye, peace. And I'll do that. I will literally do it like that. I got that from J-Lo when she was doing Selena in the movie Selena. I'll go, bye. And they're just like, what? I'll be like, are you serious? Like, oh, I'm dead serious. Bye. So let me give you some examples. So I moved to the Bay Area. I live 15 minutes from the Golden Gate Bridge right now, San Francisco. And I moved here over 20 years ago. And back then, Craigslist was the big thing. So I was dating a lot of them. I was like 31, I think, when I moved here. Approximately, I think I was 31. And I kept meeting girls, and I kept hearing the same story, the exact story. I had heard it in 2 years, or maybe it was 3 years. Even people that I met through a friend, and it was just someone, we were just hanging out. And, because so when you meet someone, whether it's a date or a friend or a group of friends, you just say, hey, where are you from? Oh, really? Oh, what brought you to the Bay Area? What brought you to San Francisco? Here's the story I kept hearing. And there was one girl in particular. I was at Borders bookstore in Union Square. We were up in the coffee shop. And I remember I had a hot chocolate. She got green tea. I'm sitting there talking to her, and the same old question. And the one thing I realized is she looked tired and she looked stressed. And I felt sorry for her. And I was like, where are you from? Oh, she was from the East Coast. I think she was Virginia. I remember, this was 20 years ago. I was like, really? I was like, well, what brought you here? Because I kept hearing about women, these young ladies from the East Coast. It was always the East Coast. It wasn't the Midwest. It wasn't Nevada. It wasn't Oregon or Washington State. It was always the East Coast, the far coast. And I was like, really? I'm like, why do I keep meeting? Like, what is this? Here's what it was. I go, well, what brought you out here? And she's like, I hate to say it, but a guy. And I was like, wow, there we are again at the same freaking steps in the story. I'm like, what happened? She's, well, I met this guy. He seemed like a really wonderful guy, blah, 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 And I got to know him over a period of time, and he convinced me to move out here, to live with him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I go, then what happened? She goes, Well, I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money, and I didn't. Now, here's another thing narcissists will look for. They're looking to see if you have a strong family connection, if you have people that have money that can bail you out or are willing to bail you out. Are you close to your family? They're looking for people who are not close to their families.
Look, a narcissist's number one goal is to target people that are happy so they can destroy them. Why? Because they're messed up people. Their number one goal is to make you homeless, and they do it on purpose. I've had people try this on me multiple times in my life, and luckily, for some reason, I didn't do it, okay? And now that I see it, it's really sick. So I've seen this happen to a lot of people. You're going to have to trust me on this one. If you don't know someone, I mean really know them, and no, let me put it this way. If you don't have at least $5,000 hidden away that this person does not know about, because they'll convince you to give it to them, to borrow it to them, and they'll never give it back. Their goal is to make you homeless, where you're completely, totally stuck, literally hundreds to thousands of miles away from anyone that you know. Don't do it. Do not move with them. And do not tell them about any money that you have saved. Okay? If they know about it, they're going to come after it. Don't do it. Take care of yourself, look out for yourself, and be smart.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have someone you can call like that and they can bail you out financially and get you back home, don't do it. Don't fucking move. So she had said, once I got out here, she did have some money in her savings, and she said he convinced her to borrow him the money and he would pay her back. This is a very typical narcissistic tactic. All right? Don't fall for it. If you don't know someone for 5 years or longer, don't borrow them money, unless it's a small amount that you could live without. When you borrow money to people, you should just expect that you're not going to get it back, okay? Unless you sign even if you sign a contract and have it officially stamped and all that stuff. Because borrowing money to people, especially nowadays with all the narcissists around, is not a smart move.